Over to you, Mayank.
Thank you, Rishabh. Thanks a lot. First of all, I'd like to, with my humble folded hands, thank Sister Jayanti Kiplani from Brahma Kumaris for giving us a very thought-provoking session on how the planet and the prophets can coexist, and what's the role of spiritualism in our world, in our business. Because spiritualism is not just limited to a personal life. We believe that if we bring spiritualism into our business thought processes and practices, our business will become much better and the world will become more sustainable. I'd also like to thank the Honorable Chief Minister of Sikkim, Shri Prem Singh Tamang, for his enlightening views on the progress which the state of Sikkim has made in implementation of the United Nations Sustainability Goals. Sikkim, being one of the smaller states in India, has shown the path to a lot of the bigger states to see the way on how, as a government and a public-private partnership, can work together in implementing these goals. And that's a theme which we are working around. It's not just the government which has to make the effort, and it's a combination of a public-private partnership which only can help in achieving these goals. Today, we have on our panel people from across the globe who are experts in the areas of finance, in areas of investments, in areas of sustainability. So the idea of today's panel discussion is to brainstorm with them and understand that how the world has evolved and how we can bring those practices of sustainability, which maybe the developed countries have already implemented much earlier, into the developing economies such as India and the Middle East. So we will start our panel discussion with our first guest, which is Mr. Roland Schatz. He is the founder of United Nations Global Sustainability Institute Index and the UNGSII Foundation. By profession, Mr. Roland is a fifth generation journalist, one of the very well-renowned and well-respected journalists at a global level. He has made significant contributions to the world of journalism. And since taking over the role as founder of UNGSI, he has been a pioneer in implementing the SDGs across the globe. And it's my honor that as ambassador of UNGSI, I have a pleasure of interacting with him and working with him. And I would like to start with you, Roland. In your role as founder of UNGSI, it would be useful for our audience to understand what exactly does UNGSI do, and how does the functions of UNGSI contribute towards accelerating and implementing the United Nations SDGs. Over to you, Roland.
Thank you, Mayank. And thank you, sister, for reminding us that it's only working if we are in this together. I just came back this morning from Rome, where I was lucky to be with Cardinal Turkson and his team from the Dicastery of Human Development. And it was exactly their thought and their concern 2 days ahead of the 5th anniversary, when all these 193 heads of states got together in New York to accept and announce that these 17 goals and the 169 sub-targets will become our joint compass for the coming 15 years. It's now 2 days, and then 5 years are already gone. And we have only 10 years left. And I love your optimism by sharing with us. We can even do it before, because that is more or less the program of 25+5 that UNGSI tries to support cities in 5 different categories, university cities, because without academia, we will not be able to fast track anything, because it has to go into the bloodstream of science to embrace all 17 SDGs. Then 5 cities with a community of around 500,000 inhabitants, 5 cities around 1 to 5 million, 5 mega cities like Tokyo or Mexico City, and then 5 cities where the UN itself has offices, because the UN has to start walking the talk themselves. So these are the 25 cities who promise that they can reach the SDG already by 2025, if we can illustrate that we are doing this together. Because no matter with whom you talk, when you look at the website from UN Habitat, which is within the UN universe, the agency in charge of the cities, it is not a question of the money, which might be lacking here and there. The amount of money which should be invested in the SDGs is available. When I look into this room, I would like to say, in our virtual room, you can get an idea that the know-how how to do it is as well available. But the question is, how do we, on one hand, create the awareness that people get excited? If we connect the dots, we can do this together. Because if you open your newspapers in India, if you open the newspapers in Dubai, if I open my newspapers here in Switzerland, we don't see that much stories of the encouraging example of Sikkim. We see a lot of stories of shortcomings. And as you can see in the back of me, the program of 25+5 is about to create lighthouses. So people, when they see something, they get inspired and they call their mayor, they can call their chief minister, they can call their university president, they can call their priest or whomever they want to call, and simply ask, if Sikkim can do it, where are we? And when can we start to make it happen? So let me take you on a very short journey by beaming us all to the other side of the planet from Dubai, where you find an amazing town, an amazing region called Mendoza. This town and the people of Mendoza, they are located in Argentina. And you would say, oh my God, Argentina, you can't do anything. Aren't they just called a failed state, broken in finance? But in contrary, in Mendoza, you have basically everything lined up in 268 projects, what they need to do in order to reach the SDGs latest by 2030. But when I gave the book to Pope Francis last year, almost at this time of the year, and I showed him, look, in your own country in Argentina, they are ready to go. You should have seen his smile. Because if you try to put yourself in the shoes of Pope Francis or in your shoes, sister, you are always under this burden that people look up to you and they wait what you do, correct? But if we keep on waiting for what the leaders are doing, we won't achieve the SDGs by 2025, we won't achieve it by 2030, we probably even miss 2050 if we wait for the others. So therefore, let me start by asking this group, you know, Mayong was already highlighting it. We have so many experts here in the field of finance, from banking, from investment. May I ask you a simple question? How much of the money you are managing is already invested in line with these 17 SDGs? Are you able to have a second annual report, not only showing your financial returns, but your returns on the SDGs? We have another big group in this room, the companies. How many of you entrepreneurs are already able to say, my company is fully in line with the SDGs? It's not only that we are making great profits and that we treat our employees in a great way and that even these employees have a chance to be good fathers and mothers, which is not the case in a lot of companies where they think they own their employees to a degree that the employees have to be there already in the morning by 6 or 7 and they shouldn't leave before 8 or 9 in the evening, no matter whether they are mothers or fathers and responsible for raising their children. There's a lot to be done as a company in order to move towards the SDGs. The message of today's session here is the SDGs are business. They can provide returns for your bottom line in a way how Robert Rubinstein is always declaring it and explaining it. There are 3 bottom lines. And if you are fully dedicated to the SDGs, if you run your company in line with the SDGs, you are not only doing good for your bank account, you are doing good for society, and you are doing good for planet. So I will not talk about the finance opportunities UNGSI has developed, because that will be coming from Anis. I want to share with you what companies and what cities can do together in order to fast track the SDGs. When I'm in Dubai, when I'm in Abu Dhabi, but as well when I'm in Noida and soon coming to Sikkim or Dhaka in Bangladesh, the first thing what I realize is there's so much waste. There's so much plastic around. And it's still there, and almost nobody seems to take care. What I would love to share with you, there are now amazing solutions ready that you can use your waste and you can turn it to energy. You can turn it to the good. You can run your new roads basically based on plastic instead of asphalt. Why? Because you have these amazing entrepreneurs around you who understood what their children were telling them. Papa, Mama, why are you continuing producing roads in a way that it is hurting nature? Why can't you develop a solid way of building roads, but at the same time you are using plastic? Papa, Mama, why are you needing to use energy in a way instead of turning waste to energy? There are so many fantastic providers in this room already who are able to turn waste to energy. Papa, Mama, why are you still driving a car driven by diesel? There are other ways how to get us from A to B. I'm thinking of an amazing company outside of Berlin. It's called E-Rocket. They build bicycles, but the bicycle is basically as fast as a motorbike. But it's only run on a battery and your legs. But it can be as fast as 80 miles per hour. So this company developed a solution for India, for Bangladesh, that you can fix your problem by getting goods into city center, the famous last mile, and you no longer need a diesel-driven lorry. You can give it to your friends who are usually just driving a rickshaw. But now, this time, this rickshaw is carrying not only 2 people, but in the back, they can bring into town, where you should no longer have any cars, all the goods necessary, which you need to have in the city center. They can run a bus based on their legs and no longer on a diesel engine. So what I'm trying to tell you is, again, the money is there. The know-how is there. The question is, how do we connect us? And that is why I'm happy that on one hand, the faiths all got together 18 months ago in Vatican when Pope Francis and Michael Muller set up their first SDG conference with the faiths. Because the SDGs are nothing else than a logo. But we need to move the logo to legs and hands. And who have the fastest access to our legs, our hands, and our hearts, plus the brains, than our faiths? And for all those who are agnostics, I have a good news for you. Because guess what? A soccer club like Real Madrid, with 500 million followers, guess what they are looking for? They want to find purpose. They have 1,600 schools around the world, because there are so many young people who are dedicated and they like what Real Madrid does and they want to now get into education. But Real Madrid Foundation realized there has to be more which we can share with young people than that our team is winning once a week. And this more are the SDGs. So let me close by a very simple example, which I want to show you. This is our SDG card. It's not a credit card because I don't trust credit card companies. It's a debit card, and it is at the same time a prepaid card. And what are we suffering the most in our cities? When you come to Cambridge, UK, and you don't take your car, but you arrive by train and you have a meeting with the university or with one of these amazing companies located in Cambridge, you need to be pretty fit, because until you reach the university, you have to climb above a lot of people who are homeless. When I went to Cambridge the first time, I was rather shocked, and I thought, what is wrong with these people that they don't take care of their people who are left behind? Unfortunately, this is not only happening in Cambridge, UK. We have too many people who fall under the category of SDG 1. We need to find smart solutions, giving them a chance that they get back to society. One of these solutions is the 1 trillion tree initiative. We need to plant so many trees because we, the industries over the last 150 years, actually killed 1 trillion trees. And that's why planet Earth is struggling. But if we get programs with those who seem to be forgotten, and we offer them, yes, you might not have a degree, but it doesn't take a degree to plant a tree, because even me, Roland, can do that. I plant every year 50 trees, and my daughters do. No degree necessary. So if I can do it, everybody can do it. But now comes the smart point. Every tree is growing, hopefully. That's why you shouldn't go out and plant your tree wherever you feel like. It should be coordinated. That's why we need great leaders like the Chief Minister in Sikkim. He has to tell us where we can plant the trees. And then we have other smart people who say, well, each time when you plant a tree, why don't you add a chip to the tree? So we can check whether your tree is really growing. And then each time the tree is growing, it creates what? Carbon credits. And guess what? The CEO of the stock exchange in Stuttgart is waiting for all of you planting your trees, chip them, because he can sell the carbon credits. And each time when he's selling the carbon credits, he can send your piece of the carbon credit back to your debit card. And with this debit card, you are making people who are not accepted by the banks that they would get a bank account, all of a sudden, they are bankable. They have their bank account. They can actually receive the social money, which they get anyhow from the state, on the card. And with this card, they can go and buy a lot. The only thing what they can't buy is alcohol and other drugs, because the card is smart. And the card says, we want to support you. We want that you have a bank account, but we are not giving you the money that you use it for alcohol or for other things. So let me leave you with these very concrete projects. I hope we all see you this year on 4th Advent, because we decided to do a concert in 25 cities, illustrating that we can do something for those who feel left behind. I have an amazing team of musicians who are going to perform for those who are left behind. And after they get the best concert they ever saw, they get treated like kings and queens. They get a 3 main dish course. And while they eat and while they enjoy the music, they have our SDG 1 expert and his team around in case they want to rethink their life. If they want to change something, they can do that. And we try to help them. We will give them a card, and together with the Stop Poverty Foundation and the other face, we will try to mentor and to help. So that is one thing, very concrete, taking place December 18 to 20, which is what we Christians call the 4th Advent. And then on Christmas, we will have a service from Nagasaki in Japan to Vatican to Mendoza, where all those who are not allowed to have their Christmas service enjoy 1 hour of amazing different versions singing Silent Night together. Because you know what? This song was created and composed 1818 by a priest outside of Salzburg who only had a guitar, but he felt that his brothers and sisters were so desperate that they were not even looking forward to next year. So he composed Silent Night and he sang it with them. And this song, as you probably all know, is the song which has the most versions in the whole world of all songs. So let's help those who are left behind. Let's help those who are taken back because of social distancing and COVID-19. Let's find solutions which are smart and which are able to connect us. That would be my initial thoughts for your session, Mayong.
Thank you, Roland. Thanks a lot. I think that has